Hello students, how are you all? I hope you are doing fine at home. My name is Kumar Neha. I am working at Bharati Dasanar Matriculation Higher Secondary School, Arkunam, and the lesson which we are going to see today is water. So today we are going to see the second part of the lesson. So children, in previous lesson we have talked about how and where the water is being generated, right? So today we are going to see how the physical properties of water is being described. So first physical property of water, if you are seeing, here you can see that what is the color of the water. So generally whenever you are seeing a pure water, what will be the color? Just tell me. Yes, the water will be looking colorless. Sometimes when you are seeing an ocean, you will feel that it is blue in color, but exactly it is not blue, okay. So here we can say that the color of a water which is a pure water, it will be colorless. And plus there it will be very transparent. Transparent means when you can see through it. So it is colorless and transparent. Same way, if you are talking about the taste and the smell of water, then whenever you are drinking a pure water, you will not have any taste in that. But generally when you are drinking the mineral water, you will feel like it is little bitter, right? Why it is bitter? Because due to the addition of minerals in the mineral water, the taste gets changed. But a pure water will never have a taste. So the pure water is tasteless. Plus, whenever you want to smell water, if you are smelling some kind of water, let it be a pure water or a drinking water, you will not feel that some kind of smell is coming from that, right? But if some smell is coming, that means the water is not pure. So the pure water will be tasteless, plus it would be odorless. Odorless means it won't have any particular kind of smell. But if it's having smell, that means it's because of the dissolved salts or some kind of minerals present in that. See now, the third topic is boiling point. So generally students, what happens when you are taking water and you are heating it at 100 degrees Celsius at 76 centimeter of mercury tube, which is the Torshlane vacuum, you will see that every drop of water gets converted back into the air. So air, it can be possible, or else there will be some kind of change in the composition of water. So at boiling point, which is at 76 centimeter of mercury, the boiling point of water, which is from liquid water to gas water, the temperature will be 100 degrees Celsius. Same way here, what happens is, if you are increasing the pressure, if you are putting more pressure above the water, you will see that the boiling point is also increasing. For example, take pressure cooker. In pressure cooker, your mothers are putting everything, right? She is putting water, she is putting dal, and whenever she wants to prepare anything. So that time you will see that even after 100 degrees Celsius, the water content will remain. That is due to the increase in the temperature, plus due to its closingness, or you can say the whistle which you are hearing. When the pressure increases, that time the boiling point of the water will also increase. So here you can write that when BP increases, at that time you will see that there will be increase in the pressure as well. Same way, if the pressure decreases, the boiling point will also become less than 100. Same way, now let's see what's freezing point. So first, freezing point means whenever you are taking a liquid and that liquid gets converted into solid, at that particular temperature, that temperature will be known as freezing point. So what is freezing? When liquid gets converted into a solid, okay. So a freezing point of water is how much? It's 0 degrees Celsius. So at 0 degrees Celsius, every bit of the liquid water will get converted into ice at 0 degrees Celsius. That is why it's known as a freezing point. Same way, if here you are decreasing the pressure, that time you will see that the freezing point will also decrease, and if you are increasing the temperature or if you are increasing the boiling point, you will see that here also there will be some variation in freezing point. So, here again you can write that freezing point increases when the pressure increases. Okay? Same way, when the pressure decreases, the freezing point will also lower. That is, it will become in negatives. Now see here, there is change in the state. So what does this mean? Change in state means when you are applying heat to a liquid, how it is getting converted into a gas, that temperature is known as the boiling, or you can call it as a vaporization point. So here what generally happens is, when this liquid is getting evaporated, that time you will see that some kind of heat is being absorbed. That absorption of heat energy is known as vaporization energy, or you can also call it as, that is Latin heat of vaporization. Okay, same way, when you are taking a solid and that solid, if you are cooling it, it will remain as a solid, but now you are taking a liquid and you are putting cold energy to it, that time it will get converted into solid, and how much energy is been required by that particular liquid to change into solid, that liquid energy is known as Latin heat of solidification. It's solidification because here the liquid is becoming a solid, right? Yes. Now let's see what's the specific heat capacity. So specific heat capacity means when you are taking a liquid at a particular temperature. For example, you are taking 1 gram of ice. Now this 1 gram of ice, you want to increase 1 degree Celsius to it. How many or how much energy is required to change that 1 gram of ice to increase its temperature by 1 degree Celsius? That particular energy is known as specific heat capacity. So for that, there is an experiment too. So here you can see that when you are taking a hot metal, that time you will see that whenever it is getting heated up, at what temperature it is getting heated up, that particular temperature is known as specific heat capacity. Same way, whenever you are considering a pure water, in pure water there are no minerals and there are no elements present. So if there are no elements or minerals, then if you are passing electricity, the electricity flow will not be there. That is why pure water is known as a bad conductor of heat and electricity. Same way, the solvent property, we are calling it as a solvent, or you will also call water as a universal solvent, because water has the capacity to break the bond between two different elements. For example, Na and Cl. When you are breaking the bond between them, it is much more easier for the water to break it. That is why we are calling it as a solvent property or a universal solvent. Same way, water is also known as a polar compound or polar solvent because it is breaking the bond, right? Yes. Now let us see an experiment. In this experiment, the aim of the experiment is to show the presence of dissolved salts in the tap water. Solids means what are the salts present. So what we are doing is, first we are taking the tap water. Now in this tap water, we are keeping it in a evaporating dish. What happens when you are heating it at a higher temperature? You will see that all the water from this will get evaporated, and after evaporation you will get a figure like this. In this you can see that there is some white particles, right? These particles are showing a concentric rings. So this shows that there is presence of dissolved salt in the tap water. Even one more example I can give children, that whenever your mother is taking some kind of water or tap water in her steel vessel, if she keeps it for a longer period of time, you will see that some kind of white substances are being formed around it, right. So that is due to the presence of dissolved salts. Now let us see how dissolved gases are present in the tap water. So what we are doing is, in this we are taking tap water. Now when we are heating it, you will see that the water will travel from this side and it will go here. So when it is going here, you are keeping a test tube over that and you will feel that some kind of bubbles are coming up. So that bubble shows that there is some kind of gas present inside that. Now how you can confirm which gas it is? Take this tube, take a matchstick and you put it over that. You will see that there will be some kind of sprit, or you can see that some flame will be there. That flame shows that in that oxygen is present. Okay. Now see what and why the dissolved salts are important for animals, people or anyone. So let us see, dissolved salts or dissolved gases are having oxygen gas and carbon dioxide gas. So oxygen gas is important for the respiration of fishes, right. Same way oxygen is also involved for purification of water. Same way carbon dioxide gas is important for photosynthesis and formation of cell of the organism which are present deep inside the sea. Now let us see how the solubility of the water will vary depending upon the temperature. So here you can see that as you are increasing the temperature, see this is the graph between the solubility and temperature. So at a particular temperature you will see that the solubility of oxygen is around 0.1, but as the temperature increases, the solubility of gas will decrease. Same way when you are taking carbon dioxide is at 2.3. So when you are increasing the temperature, you will see that dissolvability will decrease. Okay. So here you can write that solubility increases when temperature decreases, or solubility decreases when there is increase in the temperature. Okay. Now let us see what happens if you are increasing the pressure on a liquid. So here you can see that there are two diagrams. In the first diagram, it is a normal pressure and you can see that all the particles are far away from each other. Same way, if you are putting pressure over it from a piston, you will see that they are getting mixed up, right. So this shows that according to Henry's law, whenever the pressure increases, that time the solubility will also increase. Same way, there is one example too for that. A Coca-Cola bottle, when it is cold, you will feel that when you are opening it, that time with a high pressure the Coca-Cola will come out, right, because it is at cold temperature. Same way, if it is normal temperature and the pressure is not increased, that time the salts or the gases will not mix into the water. Okay. Yes. Now let us see what are the chemical properties of water. So first chemical property of water is pure water will always be neutral to litmus paper. What it is? Pure water is always same way, if you are taking a red litmus paper or a blue litmus paper and you are putting it inside it, there will be no change in the color because pure water is neutral. Same way, stability. So children, the stability of water is very high. How? Because for example, you are taking H2O and at the temperature when you are heating it, which is at 2000 degrees Celsius, only you will see that H2 gas plus O2 gas will be formed, but Here only 0.6% of water is getting converted into this gas. This shows that even at higher temperature the water is very stable. Same way catalytic nature. So, catalytic nature means due to the presence of water how a catalyst reaction can take place. For example, when you are taking HCl. For the production of HCl you need H2 gas and you need O2 gas, or here you are needing HCl gas, right. So, when you are heating it you will see that due to the presence of moisture, or you can call it as water, there will be formation of HCl. Now, you can ask me why I have written here O2. So, for the formation of O2 also you need some kind of improvement, or you can call it as a catalyst for the further conformation. Okay, students? So, yes student, so in this lesson we have discussed about what are the physical properties, chemical properties, and we have discussed about the characteristics, or we have seen the experiment, right. So, in this experiment we got to know how dissolved salts and dissolved gases are important for the people, plus how these are being present. So, students, I hope you have enjoyed the session. In the next section we are going to talk about the different physical properties and the chemical properties of water. When water reacts with metals, non-metals, what reactions will happen. So, for the next class just be ready, just go through everything, and in the description box you can go and check out all the study material, question bank and self-assessment. I hope you have enjoyed the session. Until we meet next time again, till then, bye bye.